Oh, are you looking for free games of Webcam Commander? Well, the Tolarian Community College Discord's Looking for Games section is 100% free, so you can shuffle up and play in a cool, fun space for those looking for webcam games of Commander or any Magic the Gathering format for that matter. Just go to discord.gg/Tolarian Community College. Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is it worth it to buy a Lost Caverns of Ixalan Commander deck? Pirates, vampires, dinosaurs, and merfolk, oh my! Magic the Gathering returns to the iconic plane of Ixalan and brings with it 4 brand new Commander decks, packed full of both reprints and new card designs, all wrapped in a singular deck ready to be played right out of the box. But do these Commander decks break the mold when it comes to pre-constructed products aimed at both new and established Magic players? Do they contain needed reprints or more jank that's been reprinted 100 times before? Are there new card designs that are offering something new to the format or just more of the same? And most importantly, hey, how well do these decks play? All those questions and more are what's in store, so let's take a look. But first, between travel, shopping, and a multitude of obligations, it can be even harder than usual to find the time and energy to cook. And when your budget might also be a smidge tight, ordering delivery isn't always a great option either. It's times like these when this video's sponsor, Factor, can come in very handy indeed. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code TolarianCommunity50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Factor offers chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in just 2 minutes that are delivered right to your door. With 35 different meal options each week and dietary options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and vegetarian, there's something for everyone. Meal plans range from 4 to 18 meals per week, and you can add more or reduce the number depending on your specific needs. And you can easily modify food preferences and skip a week if needed, like if you're traveling to dear old grandma's for Thanksgiving dinner. Factor's here to do whatever works best for you. I'll be honest with you, anytime a Factor delivery arrives on our doorstep, it's cause for excitement here at Tolarian Community College. My staff wastes no time opening up the box and dividing up the meals to enjoy them throughout the week, if they even last that long. And Factor sends us a lot, but we just love Factor. That's true, by the way. When Factor arrives, I literally hear staff members shouting out, "Factor!" That's not in the script, that just happens here. Factor isn't just for easy dinners either. When you're too busy running around to plan lunch, Factor's got your back. With lunch to go. With easy, wholesome meals like grain bowls and salad toppers, a satisfying lunch is never out of reach. You don't even need a microwave. So if you could use a helping hand this holiday season, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code TolarianCommunity50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring this video. A Lost Caverns of Ixalan Commander deck contains the following. 1 ready-to-play right-out-of-the-box Commander deck, which itself includes 2 foil legendary cards, as well as 10 brand new card designs, a 2-card Collector Booster sample pack, 1 thick foil-etched display commander, 10 double-sided tokens, 1 life tracker, and 1 quote-unquote deck box. Price on these? Well, let's cover a few specifics first. The Collector Booster sample pack contains 2 cards that can be found in a Collector Booster, and these have by now become an expected inclusion in all Commander precons. The Commander decks themselves each contain 10 brand new card designs, which is in line with what non-premium Commander decks contain. But there's something extra about the reprints in these decks, namely that in addition to some really impressive reprints, just in a general sense, each deck has a singular, high-value reprint, more or less at the same price range, which means it was done on purpose. For example, the Vampire deck contains the first ever reprint of Exquisite Blood, a $35 card that now is thankfully down in price thanks to its inclusion as a reprint here. But even so, it's still going for $25 as a single, which is a lot. And this is an above average quality reprint to put in a Commander precon. A $35 reprint? What else you got? Well, that same deck has reprints like Elenda, the Dusk Rose, and Bloodghast, both of which were $10 cards before being being announced as reprints here, as well as several more great inclusions. The Pirate deck has a reprint of Black Market Connections. That's the first time this card has ever been reprinted, and it too was above $30 before being announced as a reprint here. And that's not all. The Pirate deck also has cards like Time Stream Navigator, another first reprint, and a card that had spiked in price to $10 with the announcement of River Song back with the Doctor Who Commander decks. The deck also has reprints like Pitiless Plunder, a card that was only reprinted on the list, which really doesn't do much, you know. And that card too at the time was over $10 before being announced as a reprint here. The Merfolk deck includes Branching Evolution, another $25 card prior to being reprinted. Not to mention other great value items like Thassa, God of the Sea, and Metallic Mimic, which were only reprinted in secret layers. And they were each just under $10 before the reprints. The Dinosaur deck has a Chroma's Will reprinted in it. That was a $25 card. And when you look at the values of those reprints and see how each deck has one big splashy $25 to $30 card reprinted in it for the first time ever in most cases, as well as several other $10 cards reprinted for the first time ever as well, not counting, secret layers in the list, but these are all cards that are ubiquitous to formats like Commander, so we know that they are needed, we know that they have a place in people's decks, and thus they are extremely welcome here. Oh my god, great reprints with one big, splashy, never before reprinted card per deck? This means they got my letters. This means this is my moment in the sun. Oh, come on. Hello, markups. Velociraptor, the deck with the most amazing name ever, is apparently selling for not $40 each, not $45, not $50, not $55, not even $60, but $66 and up. Heck, Amazon has it for $88, which is weird because no one else has it that high. So that's just reason 7,232 why you should never ever shop on Amazon for Magic the Gathering products. The truth is, the price on each of these decks should be $45, which is the price you would pay if you went into your local big box store and scanned one of these at the register. So even though Wizards of the Coast hides that MSRP from people, we know the price should be $45, not $65. And I really do wish they would return MSRP, because not having it leads to consumer confusion and many Magic the Gathering players out there not knowing that these are supposed to be $45 each, yada yada yada. Interesting, looking at online marketplaces, only the Vampire deck is selling for $45, with both the Pirates and Merfolk decks selling for less than $40 each, which is great because, again, each of these decks has that big splashy reprint, and several more that essentially are worth the price of the whole dang deck. It's just the Dinosaur deck that has somehow been marked up beyond the other three. Do not pay markups. The trend in Commander decks is often that prices plummet a few weeks after release when the next set of products inevitably get announced. I always urge patience. Look at how many Commander decks can be found for less than $45. I have a collection of these at my landing page on cardkingdom.com/TCC, which you can check out for no other reason than to get a good idea of which Commander decks can be had at a bargain. Always shop your local game store first, but if you don't have a local game store, or your local game store isn't the best in terms of prices or products, you can always follow my affiliate code to cardkingdom.com/TCC and shop singles as well as my favorite products, accessories, and a collection of bargain priced Commander decks from previous sets. Do not pay markups, but just why is the Dinosaur deck so marked up above its brethren? Is it the big splashy reprints, original designs, or maybe is it that it plays better than the other three? No, that last part can't be right. I've heard that the Merfolk deck was the best. Yes, this is it. This is where they finally not only give us a Merfolk Commander deck, but make it overpowered, the best of the four. It's Merfolk's time to shine. This is my moment in the sun. This is my...
Up to the throne room now, all of you.
Ruined it. Thanks.
Oh, very well. Let's talk financial analysis first. If you were to buy all the cards within each Commander deck, just the singles at their lowest available price, in an attempt to build these yourself, Ahoy Mateys would currently cost you $93.98. Blood Rights would cost you $95.84. Explorers of the Deep, $92.70. And Velociraptor, yes, the highest of the group, at $107.75. But of course, these are 100 card decks, and that means they are filled with a lot of bulk. Never mind basic lands, there's plenty of 10-cent, 50-cent cards in here. What if we eliminated all cards worth less than $1? In that case, Ahoy Mateys would still be worth, wow, $71.78, and Blood Rights, $72.44. Explorers of the Deep, yay Merfolk, is $71.52 with all the bulk eliminated, and Velociraptor is $87.36. While of course these are pre-order prices and they will adjust once decks hit shelves, I think this indicates that there is some really good value here. Ahoy Mateys has 19 out of 100 cards worth more than $1 each. The biggest being that reprint of Black Market Connections, which while it has already dropped in price, which is what it's supposed to do when it gets reprinted, is still at around $18.90. Timestream Navigator just under $8, the Indomitable $5, and even further down the list, seeing that cards like Blasphemous Act, Bident of Thassa, Sulphur Falls, Prismari Command, Pitiless Plunderer, Windfall. These are all great Commander cards and needed reprints to keep their prices affordable and accessible. Great selection. Blood Rights has 19 out of 100 cards worth more than $1 each. And yeah, top of it is that big splashy reprint of Exquisite Blood, but let us not look past cards like Charismatic Conqueror and Carmen Cruel Sky Marcher. New card designs that are awesome, especially when paired with Damn. They reprinted Damn. Bloodghast, Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, yeah, stick a Planeswalker in it. Another cool selection of cards. While my precious Merfolk deck has 27 out of 100 cards worth $1 each, the values are more evenly distributed, with Branching Evolution now down to about $11.68, what a drop, but that's what it's supposed to do, and Kumina, Tyrant of Orzhaka at $6.30. Kindred Discovery, Herald of Secret Streams, Thassa, God of the Sea, Metallic Mimic, even just having cards like Prime Speaker Zagana and Rapid Hybridization are welcome here. And remember that Branching Evolution was $25 before being reprinted. Looking at the Chase deck Velociraptor, it has 25 out of 100 cards worth more than $1 each. And nothing gives me greater joy than to say Akroma's Will is now down to $12.81, thanks to it being reprinted here. So even if you're not going to pick up this deck, you can buy the singles you need a lot more affordably now. But I'm also glad to see Chandra's Ignition reprinted, Xenagos God of Revels, Descendant's Path, even some of the lower priced cards like Clifftop Retreat, Ripjaw Raptor, Return of the Wild Speaker. This is a great collection of both reprints and new card designs. So the value here is solid, just some really high quality cards, and if you can indeed pick a deck up for $40 to $45, financially speaking, yes, these are worth it. But worth is not just gameplay. But worth is not just finance. How well do these decks play, both against one another or against other precons, and is there a good path to upgrades? Let's talk gameplay. In terms of gameplay, these actually feel like some of the best Commander precons of the year. The decks are constructed with really strong and effective synergies, utilizing the strengths of each of the 4 creature types, without relying on the linear gameplay style that creature decks can often fall victim to. In playing these decks against one another, right out of the box and without any upgrades, I found their gameplay styles different and unique. The Vampire deck's aristocrats-like sacrifice theme was easily able to keep pace with the more aggressive decks like Merfolk and Dinosaurs, neither of which felt like one-dimensional aggro decks, while the Pirates deck was an absolute hoot, with tons of what's yours is mine style, well, piracy cards built right in. I actually had great luck playing these decks against established Commander decks. For the first time in a long time, I got those old school Commander precon vibes of these decks feeling as though they can, if not win against the average Commander player's deck, at least put up a fight and give its pilots something to do throughout the game. This has always been important to me, while as it's important for these decks to have great reprints and new card designs, for established players to use in existing decks and build around for new decks, decks. The ultimate thesis of a Commander precon should always be to serve as a gateway for a player new to the format to be able to pick up one of the decks and with no or perhaps just a few upgrades, sit down and get games with their friends who are already in the format. Maybe you won't win, but you can play, and in so doing, see the format for yourself. Then begin a path to either upgrading your precon or building your first deck using pieces of these. And I can say with confidence that these 4 decks achieve that. Honestly, playing these decks in games against the Eldraine Commander decks really demonstrates how different the power levels are. While gameplay is subjective, I found each of these 4 decks right out of the box made short work of the Eldraine decks from just a short while ago. These are much more powerful and much better constructed. If you're curious about upgrading these decks, you can actually watch me play with a fully, and I mean fully, upgraded version of the Merfolk deck against souped up versions of the other 3 on the new episode of Game Nights coming this Wednesday. We went no limits with these builds, and I think if you're wondering what these decks can really do, then this episode will be very helpful, so keep an eye out for it this Wednesday. So which deck is the best? Well, they're all very well constructed, but if I had to rank them, I'd put the Vampire and Pirates as my second pick, and Dinosaurs and Merfolk as first pick. And again, this is not financially speaking, it is just in terms of gameplay and construction. And yes, I know I will be accused of bias in saying the Merfolk deck is tied for most powerful of the 4, but having gotten a lot of games in, I really do believe that's the case. In fact, if you have been watching this channel for some time, you know I've always insisted that if a particular deck speaks to you, either flavor-wise or mechanically, then that is the deck to get, which is just enough excuse for me to declare that the Merfolk deck is the best of the 4 as far as I'm concerned. That's right, Merfolk Commander deck is the #1 pick. This is it! This is
my moment in the sun. This is my moment.
Final conclusion, all 4 of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Commander decks are worth it to buy, both financially and in terms of deck construction and gameplay. Each deck contains at least one splashy, never-before reprinted reprint, and has a strong overall value. In terms of gameplay, all 4 decks are powerful, complex, and well-designed, able to be played out of the box, and with many fun options for upgrades. In my evaluation, these are some of the best Commander precons of the year. The grade is a solid A. So long as you do not pay $60 to $80 for the Dinosaur deck, come on, don't pay markups. And I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. Remember, Commander isn't the only way to play. Looking for a Commander palette cleanse? Check out the latest Shuffle Up and Play, where we draft a vintage Power Cube, or maybe you'd just like to enjoy some Flesh and Blood with me, the Professor. I'll be in Barcelona this November 16th through the 18th for the Flesh and Blood World Championships. If you're in the area, links to event information are in this video's description. And I hope to see you in Barcelona. And hey, remember, if you're tired of spending way too much on delivery food that often arrives lukewarm and not even what you ordered in the first place, then check out Factor, because Factor offers chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in just 2 minutes that are delivered right to your door. With 35 different meal options each week and dietary options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and vegetarian, there's something for everyone. We just love Factor here at Tolarian Community College. So if you could use a helping hand this holiday season, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code TolarianCommunity50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring this video.